BPD is borderline personality disorder. It's a chronic personality disorder. It's in the cluster B personality disorder that involves difficulty in social relationships, emotional regulation, and fear of abandonment.
Shh. Welcome to the Secret Life Podcast. Tell me your secret. I'll tell you mine.
Sometimes you have to go through the darkness to reach the light. That's what I did. After 12 years of recovery in sex and love addiction, I finally found my soulmate, myself. Please join me in my novel, Secret Life of a Hollywood Sex and Love Addict, a 4-time bestseller on Amazon. It's a brutal, honest, raw, gnarly ride, but hilarious at the same time. Check it out now on Amazon. Welcome to Secret Life Podcast. I'm Brianne Davis-Gantt. Today I'm pulling back the curtains of all kinds of human secrets. We'll hear about what people are hiding from themselves or others. You know those deep, dark secrets you probably want to take to your grave? Or those lighter, funnier secrets that are just plain embarrassing? Join me each week as we take a deep dive into one subject matter, exploring the how, what, when, where, and why of it all. Get ready for a more focused, more revealing journey of the human experience. This is Secret Life, and I'm excited for you to join the ride. This week, we are talking about borderline personality disorder. Yes, we are. I have a lot of clients, well, not a lot, a handful of clients that have borderline personality, and people get really confused what borderline is. They get it confused with bipolar disorder. So I wanted to talk about this today because borderline actually is very common. And I wanted to say, what is BPD? BPD is borderline personality disorder. It's a chronic personality disorder. It's in the cluster B personality disorder that involves difficulty in social relationships, emotional regulation, and fear of abandonment. Some individuals with BPD may display more internalization, self-directed symptoms, including outward expressions. They're very volatile in their expressions. They go up and down very much. They're severe. And there are 4 different types of BPD. So people don't even know that. There's 4 different types of personality. There's quiet BPD, there's impulsive BPD, there's petulant BPD borderline, and there's self-destructive BPD. So let's do the quiet BPD. They're afraid of being abandoned. They keep their emotions inside. They blame themselves rather than others. So that's one type. And then the impulsive BPD types are tendency to be distractive, hyperactive, have chaotic emotions, really risky behaviors, and they self-harm themselves or others. There's self-destructive BPDs. There's showing masochistic kind of traits. They're very they go to the dark side. Let's just say it like that. They direct feelings inwards. They lead to harmful, abusive behaviors, and they have moody, suicidal thoughts a lot. And then there's the petulant borderline. They have unpredictable mood swings, passive-aggressive behaviors, personality styles, and they need to feel in control. So those 4 types, and sometimes they're pendulum swings between one and the other. So someone could be a quiet and then go into the petulant and then go back to the quiet. So it's just there's 4 distinct ones, and they don't always land in that type. So I just wanted to give you that. So what are the signs? What are the signs of someone that has borderline personality? And also, why does someone have this? What is the cause? So let's look at the cause first. Sometimes people say it's genetic. If your parents have borderline, you might get borderline, but it's also more environmental, trauma-based and abuse-based. And so those things, and then there's an imbalance going on, and you cannot emotionally regulate. So it's a trauma-based, not able to emotionally regulate condition. Because here's the deal. You can get out of BPD because you can't really ever take medication. It's not like bipolar disorder. There is no medication to regulate BPD. There is not. It is not. They give you a pill and it calms the symptoms down. You have to work through borderline issues and do all these things, which I have a list and I'll tell you through them, but you have to do treatment. You have to constantly work on it, kind of like an addiction. You have to constantly manage it and you work through it. And the more you work through your trauma, these symptoms that I'll tell you about shed away. And they're never fully gone. You'll keep some around, just like an addiction. And you have to be aware of those triggers. So they're like, some of them are always there. And you're like, I got to regulate better, or I got to work on that. So it's like it's like working out. You constantly kind of have to work out. That's the best way to describe it. So it's like, the trauma's there, but it gets lighter and lighter. So the BPD symptoms get lighter and lighter. That's the best way and the easiest way for me to explain it without getting to mental health technical terms. So here are the signs of borderline personality disorder. They have difficulty in relationships. They have a problem with self-identity, self-compassion. They have suicidal ideation. They have self-harm behavior. So sometimes they pick their eyelashes or pick their skin or, the cutting or those kind of behaviors. Impulsive, risky behaviors, mood swings, feeling empty a lot, fears of abandonment, anger, outbursts, rage, paranoia is a big one. People that are paranoid or overthinkers. I mean, there's so many little things. Let's see, what else? What is another one? They have self-control problems. They get very suspicious of people at times. Let me see, what was the other one? And then if you look at the symptoms, there is an effort to avoid loss of a significant relationship. So these BPD comes up when they don't want to lose a relationship. So say if someone's going through a breakup and they don't want to lose that person, these symptoms can flare up. They can go and the BPD can literally take over. And it's almost like they become a different person at times. And you're like, whoa, what just happened? Or they're letting go of the role of the child with their parent. And I'm like, let go of your parent. You need to become an adult. And this person is like, no. And they turn into like a child. And so there's the symptoms of the BPD can flare up when they need to let go of the parent. And then another time they avoid rejection. So a lot of times these symptoms can flare up when they don't want to be rejected or don't want to put in effort and try. If there's rapid changes in someone's identity or if they lose a job. So a lot of people's BPD come up if they lose a job or they're done with college. I have a lot of people that get out of college and their symptoms flare up. Cyclical patterns of value or devaluing relationships. So that push-pull of relationships, if a friendship comes in and out, that can really trigger BPD symptoms. A desire for intensity, attention of social relationships. So I have another girl that is an influencer and her BPD flares up when she doesn't get a lot of likes or she doesn't get like money. Like her money went down when like Facebook changed their policy. So hers flared up. Impulsive, their impulsiveness can turn destructive. So they sabotage a lot, even in little ways. Like even that inner voice. And I'm like, why are you sabotaging? Things are good right now. What is going on? So their impulsiveness, like wanting to like impulsively, so say they did a good thing, right? They made a good choice. And then all of a sudden they'll like make this impulsive decision that then will fuck up this other good thing they just did. It's this very self-destructive, sabotaging thing that they do. A lack of self-understanding. Even if you give them the answer, like say we were in a session and I said, here is the answer, and they found it. Oh, look, you found the answer. A part of them will get that answer and then go, no, it can't be that simple. And they'll like confuse it to not understand it. A lack of self-image. If what they think their image should be, they have an unrealistic expectation of their image. Intense and frequent rapid emotions. If someone else is having rapid emotions or are not emotionally regulating, that can trigger them. Emotional instability on other people can make them unstable because they don't know how to regulate their emotions. So if someone's upset, they can't handle it. So then they get upset and they can't handle it. Disassociation, they disassociate a lot, and feeling worthlessness and purposelessness. So a lot of my BPD is like, what is my purpose? What is my purpose? What is my purpose? What is my purpose? Even if they're moving towards it, they second guess their purpose a lot. And then it turns into they get frustrated. They get really frustrated and they want to always know. And as you guys know, we don't know shit. Life is like a crapshoot. We don't know if it's going to rain. I mean, the weatherman tells us, but sometimes we don't know. We don't know if a plane is going to crash. We don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. We don't know anything. So this feeling of out of control of the unknown literally can bring up that panicky BPD symptoms. And so again, the symptoms are fear of abandonment, unstable relationships, self-image problems, compulsive behaviors, dark thoughts, anger issues, disassociated feelings, rapid mood swings because they can't fucking emotionally regulate because trauma in their environment they were raised in made them feel out of control and they were not taught skills how to emotionally regulate, or they were people pleasing, or they put themselves last because of a parent. They were trying to soothe the parent instead of themselves. So they grew up always making sure everyone around them was okay, but they weren't okay. So I hope that's making sense. And just because you have some of these symptoms doesn't mean you have BPD. So don't be going, do I have BPD? Do I have BPD? I'm talking heightened. I'm talking extreme mood swings. I'm talking where you almost feel crazy, where you're like, am I crazy? So this goes on. It's not like a day of this. I'm talking like you cannot regulate for like a while. So if this is happening, here's how you work through it. It's a process. Number one, it's a process. When you heal trauma, it takes a minute. So I just want, if you're listening and someone has diagnosed you with BPD, or you have thought, I think I have it because a friend has had it, I need you to know it's a process and it's never just, oh, should be done. It should be over with. No, it's a process. And this is where you have to go, okay, I am okay. This is just awareness is number one. There's a name for it. I'm not going crazy and I can now work through it. And you now have to do the work. Just like if you have an addiction, just like if you have anxiety, just like if you have depression, just like if you have cancer, just like if you have any diagnosis, you then start working through it and healing it. So here are some coping strategies that I use with BPD patients and clients, and I work through. Excuse my cough. You start to develop reducing self-harm, reducing the sabotage, pointing out the sabotage. Oh, do you see that thought? Oh, do you see that behavior? So you start pointing it out. Start looking at, oh, I did this, I thought this, and then I did this, and then I thought this, and then I did this, and then I did this, and then this bad thing happened. So it's like seeing the self-destructive and self-harming behavior. And then once you see it, you then start working through with somebody. You can't do this by yourself, by the way. Having accountability and working through strategies not to do it. So you then start going to self-regulating techniques, DBT skills, CBT skills, things that mindfulness, things that help you get out of those destructive patterns. You learn about it. You educate yourself. You look at the things that can cause it, the things that can trigger you. You start writing down your triggers, the people that trigger you, the places that trigger you, the situations that trigger you. You start making a list. You work to improve your social skills and look and you say, okay, this thing, I'm not great at communicating. I'm not great at using my voice. This is how I start working through it. And you start with a safe person. And that's always like a trusted person. So a therapist, a coach, someone that's been in your shoes, a trusted sponsor, a clergy person, I don't know, but not your family. Number one, not your family and not your friends. They are not those people. So pick someone else. Start to develop a strong relationship with yourself. So you're going to have to start connecting to self, and that's self-image and self-work. Work you're gonna have to do. And that again is another process, but that work has to be done. So connecting back to self. So that's finding things you enjoy, daily journaling, getting your negative thoughts out of your head. That is important. Set a timer for a minute. Get those thoughts out of your head. Gratitude list at night. That's good for me. Doing things that are taking care of you and connecting to you. Healthy ways to process those emotions. Getting them out, screaming in pillows, things like that. Other ways to process emotions. I did a whole episode of processing emotions, I think. So look at that episode. Tap into what brings you joy. You have to feel the sadness. You have to work through your trauma. That is number one. Number one is doing the trauma work because that's what heals the BPD, doing the trauma work. Once you start healing that, just like addiction, you have to do trauma work behind addiction. What caused the addiction? So with BPD, once you heal that, those things start slowly going away and not having such an effect on you. So you have to heal the trauma. So that's the dark, right? The shadow, the hard, the AKA negatives, right? Then the joy, you bring the joy back in. And then people love to meditate. I do active meditation. So I like to do puzzles. Right now I'm painting by numbers. You know, you do things like that. And then also get in touch with body stuff, whether it's walking, running, dancing, yoga, Pilates, getting in touch with body, moving body, however you want to, ice skating, I don't know, skipping, jumping rope. I have no idea. Whatever you love, it doesn't matter. But getting in touch with you, with moving your body, because connection to body is one of the main things to get back in and close to yourself. And a lot of times with BPD, people, they don't move their bodies enough. So I hope that helps. Let me know if you have any thoughts, if you want me to talk on another topic. This is a hard subject. A lot of people don't like to look at it and they get it confused. And here's what I'm going to tell you. BPD is not a life sentence. You're not going to have these extremeness forever. It's just knowing what it is, knowing what your brain is doing, and here are the tips to get out of it. And it is manageable. It's not completely curable. And it's not curable with medication, just like addiction is not curable, it's treatable. So BPD is treatable. It's treatable, you treat it, and then it's just like managed through life. And the more tools you get in your toolkit, the easier it is. And then it's just like every day. And I'm telling you, with my addiction now, it's just like, I don't get triggered often. Like I can emotionally regulate, I can deal with things that trigger, I can get through things quickly. It's the same with BPD. It's the same when people work through that. It's just like, oh, I got this. Like, it's good. Like, oh, I can manage that. Oh, I got through that. I couldn't get through that a year ago. So you can do it. It's okay. It's just like something you need to know and something you have to work through. And everybody in this life has some shit to work through. So I hope this helps you. I hope it gives you clarity in what borderline personality disorder is. And you are not alone because everybody's got their own shit. Thank you for listening to Secret Life. Let me know if you have any more questions. Send them my way at secretlifepodcast@icloud.com. Until next time. Thanks again for listening to the show. Please subscribe, rate, share, or send me a note at secretlifepodcast.com. And if you like to check out my book, head over to secretlifenovel.com or Amazon to pick up a copy for yourself or someone you love. Thanks again. See you soon.